Activating meridians. Alignment. Instability in field. Negative. Charge aligning matrix field. Positive. Coordinates reached, Commander.
Activate the Sade field.
Activations of multidimensional engines.
Launch communications probe.
Power levels to maximum.
Activate all dimensional levels of communication.
Communication established.
The voice you hear is known as Bob. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. This is the last slave planet in the galaxy. Under all agreements, under all rights, under galactic law, we now proclaim this planet free. The descension of the true human consciousness has begun.
Energizing Shambhala diamonds.
The men, women, and children of this planet are now set free.
Grid fields activated.
You have already reached
Activate Shambhala diamond.
critical mass.
Integration onto microcosm. Expanding linear space.
Prepare for landing.
Free space activation. Landing. Caution. All crew members to station. This is the Starship Bob. We are landing.
It's the Darkcity show, and tonight we will be covering spectres and ghouls and vampires and all those things that may go bump in the night. So put your children to bed. Don't turn off the light. Yeah, because we're going to do... I can't keep that up. I can't do it. Make myself jump. I get goosebumps when I do it. I can't do it. So, yeah, that's just a loose topic, as always. It's the Darkcity show. Skype us at Bob's Backyard. Telephone 0161 298 0298. Or if you're outside the UK, +44 161 298 0298. And, yeah... Frankenstein. Apparently in the break I was told that Frankenstein was actually the original film was put up there to and diss Tesla, to put negative stuff out about Tesla, and I suspect that Hollywood has been doing this for a long time. Maybe there is truth in the stories of the werewolf. Perhaps they were the weird. Perhaps there are some truths in the stories of elves and pixies and spectres and spooks and these things that you see just out of the corner of your eye, and then suddenly, the wisp of smoke. They have gone. Is there some truth in it? So some people would say, well, I mean, personally, I suppose I have my own angle on it. Many people have their own. But does it summon them up? I mean, if I say the name Beetlejuice. Yeah, no, I'm only kidding, of course. It is only worth, as far as I see it, the empowerment that we give it. and often to laugh in the face of fear. Well, that's why you get frozen by fear. Because, well, you're frozen. You can't use your laughter to shatter it before you. Because often, no, always, when you have the energies of laughter and love, when you're faced with fear. And fear is no match. In fact, you have to be careful that fear doesn't therefore become your victim, perpetrated by ourselves. So, the fallen, the outcast, the monsters, the demons, from the depths of the deep, dark city. You're right, Nerys, you're going to tell us all about them. Nerys has been looking after the demons in the depths of the dark city. So, what do they like to eat? Are they all cosy and warm? And do we need to give them any more torn up newspaper? They seem to like torn up newspaper. I don't know what it is about tearing up newspapers.
Oh, no, it's another one of my geeky interests, really. But I was really into horror, reading horror books in my late teens and early 20s. And so, some authors rise greatly above others in concept, because I think it is really man trying to separate those elements of ourselves and make sense of them, and particularly the dark ones, because we all have them and we all have to address them and, you know, do whatever with them. But I don't know if anyone's ever read H.P. Lovecraft. Anyone read his stuff? He wrote about the time of...
Well, I'm not a big reader, me, Nerys. I've only read a few books in my time. So, yeah, I can't keep in there.
Especially for the time he wrote, and he did some good zombie ones. He did a lot of good ones about scientific experiments, and, you know, yeah, that was another, I suppose, perpetuation of the mad scientists, of these guys stealing bodies from morgues and, you know, messing around with bodies in basements and stuff. And he wrote another amazing book about a guy who went down under pyramids and found all these tunnels, and then, oh God, I can't even explain these stories. They're just really out there, especially for the time he was writing them, end of the 18th century, the beginning of the 19th century, where he went down in these tunnels and found all about these aliens, but the aliens are actually the people. They were us, and they were our souls, and that's where we were before we came here. It all sounds really confusing now I'm explaining it, but yeah, that's what these exploring the darkness gives you, these concepts. Clive Barker is another one of my favourite authors. He actually wrote a book called Cold Heart Canyon, which was based in the Hollywood Hills, and that's actually quite interesting, because there is the nature of Hollywood on us, the everyday people, but there's the nature of Hollywood on the people that are living it, and that kind of vampirism, you know, like the BBC, that whole vampirism of the inner circle and what it does to people that enter into the inner circle. That's why vampirism is so interesting, because there's so many different levels on it. God, I sound like a right geek. Someone else talk. That's terrible. It is one of my really geeky interests that I've pondered on quite a lot. I don't know whether it's actually interesting to anyone else.
Yeah, well, I kind of get it, but I get it in the contracts that we make with one another. I see them as being a vampiric thing. Yeah. I don't actually get it as like, you know, somebody's teeth get long and they bite you in the neck and suck the blood out of you, and then you'll turn into a night stalker. It's like...
Bob, though, I think that's the bit that's a metaphor for sex. Because Bram Stoker's Dracula really is a love story, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You know, that's what it is. It's my favourite love story.
Yeah, well, you see,
that's his whole... That's why he takes the power. That's why he carries on. That's why he...
See, to me, Nerys, love does not have judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's beyond judgment. It has no boundaries or resist. You know, it doesn't. Right, and what we are experiencing and calling love is actually judgment. It's not love at all. It never was. And then we defend it. I love my family, I love my partner, I love my house. I've heard people say I love my job. I mean, it's judgment. That's not, you can't love my. You know, if it's mine, that's possessive, and if it's love, it's non-possessive. There is no resistance without judgment. So, the ideology of you saying that, well, it's a love story. There's no love involved. It's a judgment story. That's what it's called, and that's what it shows us. And that in many of the cases, the actual vampires are less judgmental than the people who are hunting them down.
Yeah, yeah. But that's what it is, isn't it? Because the story there goes that he loses the woman he loves, and then that's when he curses God, and that's when he takes on the power, and then that's when he becomes, undead. Which is another element to it as well, because of the whole living forever, ever youthful kind of element to the whole vampire thing. That's a whole different...
I don't actually think we die. I don't think there's any death. I think we go through a transition, you know, I think there may be a body that's left for people to grieve over. But I actually see the physical existence, as we know it, this reality we're in, as being reflected light. It's light being reflected off me, literally. It's like it's coming from the centre of me as an individual here, and my intention is coming from my presence in that moment.
Yeah.
My words that I'm speaking, of course, are not in that moment. Those words are being processed by my brain, and then coming out as words which I am speaking to explain the situation of the presence of the intention I have in the moment. Now, a lot of people will be like, what? Yeah, I'm speaking from the moment, but I'm not actually in the moment. I am unable to speak. I have no body in the moment. There is no body. There is no body there. I have a presence, but no physical representation. And that can also be seen physically. You will step into empty space soon. You will move from the space you are in to another area of space as you actually physically move. You are entering space. That space would be as you leave, you have just left yourself in the moment as you left. So, I mean, the big breakthrough, I've been told into the spiritual knowledge, is the perception of time. Once you perceive time to be constant instead of the linear structure we've had of time, then your consciousness doesn't need time to achieve what you've been told you need to be taught. So there is no learning curve. There isn't a point from where you've got to start off at A. And the scenario we're in here, in this paradigm, is we are born, we go through adolescence into adulthood, and eventually we get old and we die. And this is, of course, a linear projection of our existence here, brought on through our perception of time. So yeah, it doesn't mean what I'm saying is correct, or what I'm disputing is wrong. It actually would say there are a multitude of timelines, if you like. Each one of us is fixed in our own time, and what is between us would be the moment, would be the energies that we have, the space that we have left or we're about to occupy. Now that's polarity thinking. There's 2 points to it. Because what we're actually doing is experiencing the source of all things. All things. And that is what we are in the moment. We actually are the source of all things. All things. Emanating from a central point. Now, that doesn't make me like the centre of my universe, but it makes me the creator. You see? The creator of an internal galaxy. Way bigger and far more larger. It's like the human body is really like the TARDIS. It is truly bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And we have been led with the perception that there's more on the outside than there is on the inside. Again, another polarity. Another polarity. And every time we experience a polarity, I think we should recognise it. And celebrate it. Because what comes after the polarity? Singularity. And also known as source. So it is almost like we are talking ourselves out of the situation all the time. We're always doing it. Again, this would open ourselves up to some very simple word magic. Very simple. Just like somebody saying, well, this would really open us up to some very simple word magic. And immediately, anybody listening would hear what I've said and go, wow, I'm opened up to some word magic. Because obviously, words are magic. They are spelt. They can be placed and spoken in a certain manner. So I could say this in this tone, or I could say I can put these words in a certain manner. You see? So the same words can be delivered in a multitude of different manners, in a multitude of different ways, and the intention behind the word can mean something completely different. When you can say, oh yes, that'll be lovely. That'll be lovely, yes. And the person will be looking at you thinking, oh, that's really great. That'll be lovely. And the person who's saying it's thinking, just fuck off, will you? and rather than being open and honest, a lot of the time we've been trained to appease people's emotions. You know? And you say to them, you know, does my ass look fat in these jeans? Oh, no, Dorothy. No, what are you talking about? You've not got a fat ass. My God, have you seen the size of a fucking ass in them jeans? You see, we don't want to offend people. We don't want to upset people. So what we're trained to do is tell lies. We tell lies to one another to make them feel better about themselves. To me, there's your vampiric state. Why would you need to do that? Why do we need to go around making other people feel good about themselves? Oh yeah, I'm not a big supporter of the Fear Factory. I don't, and the corporate media streams putting out this bullshit crap. I mean, 95% of the stuff they put on there is true. It's true, 100% bang on. You know, bang on. You couldn't want a better explanation of the multidimensional consciousnesses that make up the physical reality we live in than the Matrix films. I don't get it after the first one's alright, but I can't get it then. That's right. You go and consult the Oracle, dearie. You know? And they really got it. I mean, they're actually brilliant portrayals of what's going on. But of course, the perfect way is to put it on television, and then people say, what are you talking about? That's the fucking Matrix. That's the Matrix. That's not real. Well, I've seen these discs flying in the sky. Oh, that's the Merkaba field, the sacred Merkaba field, the sacred vehicle of the Masters. 49 breath technique. What? Them spaceships, you see. What? It's an energetical field. It can be created. It's called the Merkaba field systems. Go and study it. Well, not the UFOs. They've got aliens in them. Well, they might be alien to you, but they're humans. They're humans. You can connect together using the physical heart center and construct virtually anything. You're not aware of all this? Surely people who are aware of the Fear Factory and how it can actually raise the energy up into the upper part of the torso, putting us into a defensive or assault mode, must be aware that from that position you can't possibly learn. No one can learn from there. We've got to transcend down through the physical body, where then we actually all learn together through the experience we're currently on. Therefore, we don't have to justify ourselves in the moment, and we can actually experience ourselves as the wondrous beings we actually are in the moment. You see, I thought everybody knew this. I thought it was just common knowledge, and that everybody knew it. Whoops. We seem to have silenced everybody. Sarah's actually here. Sarah, who does the I Am Show, and she's kind of, really, she's holding her stomach here, not trying to giggle. And she's like, well, they don't know? No. Apparently not. But if you do know, and you are aware of what we're actually currently speaking of, how that people are manipulated into rising up in the physical body, and from that position, you can't learn. can't learn. And none of us can learn. That's why they do it. It's that simple. But by grounding, and we've all heard this, it's called grounding. It's the simplest way to do this. Forget all the hocus pocus. Think about your feet. Just think about your feet. You don't have to do anything else. Yeah, and get what you feel, your thought, go to your feet. There it is. Put your thought in your feet. And that'll ground you instantly. Instantly. And then be aware of your breath, your breathing. Now, a lot of the stuff that's going out there, like I say, we can't do anything about, but we can be aware of it. Just like martial arts. You with me? You can be aware. There's other stances you can take. You can move. You can create motion. So, what's about chemtrails, for instance? The pollution of our atmosphere, right? This depletes oxygen. There's getting less and less oxygen. That's why breathing is vitally important. When you're not getting enough oxygen, you can't think straight. And you go into fear. That is dead right. You comes up. That's Sarah's way of putting it. You see, I don't use those words that the spiritual type of people use. They don't like me, actually, because I just kick the door in. What are you talking about, Rainbow Bridge? Oh, do you mean the masculine feminine energies between the right and left hemisphere of the brain? Oh, no, it's another planet. It's the masculine. No, it isn't. What are you talking about? It's not up and down, it's right and left. You don't like me, I'm the naughty boy at the back of the class. I really am. Rainbow Bridge, what the fucking hell are you taking, baby? And so, yeah. But I've had some great fun. I've had some brilliant fun projecting in the spiritual church. Oh, my God. That is so funny. I'm telling you, you can get them to saying all sorts of rubbish. But that's another story. So, yeah, you can quite easily learn to calm yourself and others in your presence just by learning to ground your physical body and coming out of the mind's the front lobe of your head. Yeah, you actually feel it come to the back, right down to the back, over the base of over the spine, the back of the base. Base, is it? That's the base of the skull, isn't it? So into the base of the skull. So yeah, it's not difficult. It's really simple stuff. Well, if I didn't know better, I'd say the ghouls and the spectres and the spectrums and the other things were cutting us off and they were assaulting the internet. No, it was just Skype. Skype just fell out, no big problems there. That's okay. So anybody, Bob, is that you? Do you want to throw something in?
Well, I was just going to say it's just a gremlin then.
Yeah, just one of the gremlins. Don't throw water on it, Bob, whatever you do.
Exactly. Water and gremlins in computer equipment do not go well together.
I've got a gremlin actually. Do you want to hear me gremlin?
Yeah, go on then.
Hang on a minute. I don't know. It might be a bit shy. I'll just see. Yeah. I can't do it at the moment. I need to get some water, but I've been told it's just at the moment. Just at this moment. We'll pull her up on that on the I Am show later. Actually, that's all this about, not being prepared in the moment, eh? So we'll get with that one.
So it's quite difficult to pull out the hat just like that.
Yeah, but I mean, even there, Bob, that was a bit weird, isn't it? You have something nice and furry and it's really cuddly and all that, and then it turns into a monster that just has to be destroyed and wiped out. You know, I mean, what is it? Why can't we just have things that don't turn into blood-sucking vampires?
Because Hollywood says we have to.
It looks like it, doesn't it, man? It does look like it. I've seen a lot of that regarding, you know, the films and geometry and stuff like that. I mean, you take Beauty and the Beast. I mean, my God. You know, looking at it now, I mean, I played that to my kids. You know, oh, sit down and watch this. It's lovely. Get yourself ready. You know, I mean, what are we doing? You know, where are we at? I say, it's too easy to point the finger of blame. You know, we used to have, what was it? No spanking, no wanking, and no yanking. And then we used to have our little rules in chat room years ago. No slapping anybody else around, no slapping yourself around, and no picking on the Americans. Because they're all far too easy to do. Come on, we need a challenge. So yeah, and I get that. It's too easy to blame other people or pick on other people for things. It is. I mean, Nerys made a point about, you know, the energy transference within debate or argument. And a lot of the esoterical teachings is just that. The guy with the loudest voice wins the argument. It's basically the person with the best argument wins. And at the end of the day, if you're starting from that, there is no winner. You know, at the end of it, everyone should learn, and it should be beneficial to all, not a winner and a loser. That's tribal conflict. That's the feudal system. You know, and that, basically, the feudal system is based upon what modern day consumerism. That's what it is. It's we can consume more than you. My telly's bigger than your telly. My car's faster than yours. Oh, do you know my car only does 5 miles to the gallon? Top that one. I can get 9 miles to the gallon out of it on a full day. 9 miles to a gallon of petrol. Yeah, that's what my car does. Come on, you get more of a Veyron than that. So, you know, that's all it is. It's consumerism. It really is. That might be your vampire, Bob. You know? Sucking the life and destroying everything, ripping the minerals out of the ground, no compassion, not, hey, you know, you need to have a bit of a break on 98% of the world's population here, Bob.
A bit of a break?
Well, yeah, you're actually talking about 98% of the world's population.
Are affected by it.
Are in the consumerist ideology, you know, the consumerist state of mind.
Yeah, affected by it. They're not the ones promoting it. They're just the ones that have caught this social disease.
And most of them are aware of it.
Yeah,
very, very aware of it. As Sarah said,
that's then when you get back to the zombie bit.
Well, I don't really know if it's right saying that it's... You see, my words, my way, man, is your verbal affirmation is about you. You can think you're talking about someone else, but my words come out of me. Therefore, they are about me. So, yeah. Yeah, I reckon the people who tell people...
Oh, my word... Yeah, you're absolutely right. But my words are an observation that I've made.
No, they're not an observation. Observation's made with your eyes. It's an affirmation you make with your voice.
Well, I'm voicing the observation.
Right. Well, I haven't seen
something that I've seen.
Eating zombies on me ice tree, Bob. Don't go to Bournemouth, I'm told. Don't go to Bournemouth. Apparently, there are outbreaks of flesh-eating zombies. But I haven't
much. Saturday night down in town is not a great place to be quite honest.
Yeah, but they're not actually flesh-eating zombies, are they?
No. That's the Hollywood depiction
these are drunken
reality, which is alcohol-fueled...
Depressants. Depression. Alcohol-fueled depression and anger, yes. Yeah. There's also, Sarah said, there's also a lot of dancing and singing goes on as well, Bob. It's not all...
The point I was trying to make in the show earlier, that, you know, Hollywood uses a picture language to describe what is in reality.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly as described by Hollywood, but the comparisons are all there.
No, I think it's pretty damned accurate. I think Hollywood's pretty accurate, to tell you the truth. I mean, they make out it's fiction, where it's fact.
Yeah.
They call it science fiction, where half of the stuff they've put on they've already got. You know, we will have this in 50 years' time, and they've already got them, so we think it's a future thing that's going to happen. And I think science knows far more about this than I do, and that they're fully aware that there's no such thing as linear time, that there's only constant time. I think Tesla knew about it, we know it without any doubt at all. Einstein's Rosenberg bridge is theoretical time travel. He didn't mention it dimensionally, but of course if you look at Einstein's Rosenberg bridge explanation of time travel, you would see that the particles don't just travel forwards as they strike and move forward in time, nor do they just strike and move backwards, but they would move, in all directions at the point of impact. Therefore, time would exist dimensionally. Einstein's Rosenberg bridge proves it. Okay? Now, I can understand why he didn't say it's dimensional and we live in a multitude of dimensionals at this point. I can understand why he said that. Come on, this is the guy that said my theories will remain theories until the reputations of important men depend upon them, then miraculously would turn into facts. Because they were theories. And why haven't we developed upon these theories? Of course they were developed upon. Stargate technology. You know, they put it on TV. Oh, look, it's on the television. What are you talking about? Oh, you need a wheel and it lights up like water. You don't. It's geometric patterns. Any individual can shift consciousness and travel from one dimension to the other. That information's been available on Earth for thousands of years in the Middle East. Thousands of years. Yeah, Iraq's got one. They've been attacked for it. That's been out there for years. But again, you know, people are told this. It's put out there through various different media sources. They don't want to believe it. Are you trying to get in there? Is it Sparky or Lee? There's a wombo.
Yeah, it's me.
Go on, mate.
I'd like to go back to what Bob was saying about not being very nice down in Bournemouth Town Centre of an evening. I totally agree. But a majority of people who go to these super clubs and nightclubs and spend the whole night on alcohol, they go there with a mission to end up coming home with someone else. And is that not kind of like a demonic possession? They wanted to take possessions home with them, want to possess another human being for the evening. Bob?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it, isn't it?
A link just sort of popped into my mind.
It's the vision of doing it, and in reality, it probably doesn't happen all that often.
No, but the intention is there, and all the smart clothes get put on, and the aftershaves, the attracting, the smells of musk.
I don't know that they're smart clothes. I mean, you see some of these people walking down to the club, and in the middle of winter, they've got pretty much summer clothes on.
I didn't mean to say smart, tidy, let's say. But definitely not smart as in intelligence. But yeah, it's just what the media tells us to wear that the opposite sex is looking for. But yeah, I do believe we go, there's a majority of people go to these clubs to end up bringing someone home with them. And that's a possession.
Is that not
there is something definitely demonic about it.
Is it not a primal instinct, though?
Yeah, Lee wanted to get in on this as well.
I just wanted to. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. Just about the going out on a Saturday night, and that's just. I think that's a primeval instinct. Personally, it's just like to spread the seed, in the sense of I see it as a bloke, but I don't know. But going back to what Paul was saying about the Hollywood and bringing ideas, things. That's the issue between the scientists and the science fiction writers. Obviously, the science fiction writers are left-brainers, and the scientists are right-brainers. And it's like Arthur C. Clarke, for example. What is the modern spacesuit? Was invented.
Other way, Lee. Left brain.
Okay, sorry, but yeah. But, you know what I mean? Arthur C. Clarke invented what is the modern spacesuit today. He conceptualized it, he imagined it, he drew it and wrote about it, and then NASA then asked him to perfect it for use. And that is what is the modern spacesuit today. It was conceptualized by a science fiction writer. Lots and lots of apparatus that are used in space were conceptualized by science fiction writers.
Primeval, excuse me, Leif, primeval energy, kundalini or creative energy, is what you're describing earlier, Lee, regarding that. You 100% bang on. I know you kind of put it a different way, but that's what it is. That is creative energy. Individuals coming together to try and manifest into creation as the only way they know how, which would be sexually. That's because that's the only way they know. And that's how they were created, and that's how they think they create. So, and then, yeah, and it's there all the time. People express it in different ways, but Yeah, you bang on, man. That's what it actually is. Most people see it as sexual energy. It's known as Kundalini energy, and it is actually primeval, creative energy. And without it, none of you would be here. None of you. I don't know if it's something that you could actually possess. I think the structure of relationships, of possession, like Chris is saying, goes on longer than the evening. You with me? It goes on. I mean, I suppose technically it started before they went out. And occasionally, then, like you say, I mean, it's not occasionally for me. I go out like a right scruffy bum, me. I never get ginger. I don't have a problem, guys. I don't know. Perhaps you do need aftershave. Perhaps if you wear aftershave, they'll leave me alone. I'm going to buy some aftershave. I feel like a wildebeest in the middle of the Serengeti getting surrounded by she-lions. I don't find it a nice experience at all. I don't. Look, he's got all his own teeth. Can we take him home? Does you spank him? Do you know what I mean? It is. It's like being in the slave market. It really is. So, yeah. What is all that about?
That's exactly what
you heard it here first on Dark City. Don't go to Bournemouth out of night. Outbreak of flesh-eating zombies. And they actually do mean flesh-eating zombies. After all that, you must be right, Chris. Unless they possess you, of course, Sarah says, and then they don't eat your flesh.
No, I'm still here. They haven't possessed me.
Well, people
don't you find it strange the way we get back onto the aftershave thing?
I don't know. Go on, Nerys.
Go on, Nerys.
Well, that's another thing, actually. Aftershave's weird, because we've got all these natural smells that subconsciously, normally, if we met someone, we would compute. But then we spray all this artificial stuff on. And who knows what the fuck you're saying when you buy aftershave and spray it on.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Nerys. Exactly what I was going to make.
Yeah. But I think it is that thing of people go out on us. Well, no, people do it all the time, that they're looking for something that they should be looking for inside themselves instead of to someone else to provide that thing, because they won't and they can't. So,
Why on earth would anyone want to smell like a deer when they go out? That's what I'd like to know. What is wrong with smelling like a man or a woman? Why have we got to smell like a different species? Is this some kind of disconnection with our... Is it trying to disconnect us from our heritage?
No, it's because of the food you eat. Your smell that comes off the food you eat. And people eat really dodgy food, and they stink. And you smell it. Come on. I'm not being...
They normally go to the curry house first.
All this old natural. What did you have for your tea? Kentucky Fried Chicken and McDonald's. Oh, God, go away. The smell. God. And we go like, the reptilians and the insectoids.
World, isn't it? And they used to have the spray all the time in the room.
Because we smell. We are quite smelly creatures, aren't we, really, when you look at it?
It's all about the toxins, isn't it, in the book. I used to be in a weird position. When I was working out in Tenerife, I used to do a lot of removals work. I did it for a good few years. And I used to sweat so much carrying furniture up to 15th floors and shit like that. And it got to the stage that I sweat so much I didn't have any toxins and my sweat didn't smell at all. I could have a t-shirt, a sweaty t-shirt in a bag for a few days. And you open it up, you expect it to stink like a gym bag or something. It did not smell. It's all the toxins. You're exactly right with that, Paul. You know what I mean? But if you sweat the toxins out, you end up with no toxins to smell. That's what creates the bad odours.
Apparently, we've got a news report coming in that I think it's the A27 for Bournemouth. There's serious traffic delays on it. There's thousands of single men heading towards Bournemouth looking for the flesh-eating zombie women. Apparently, so you might get an influx of people coming tonight for the Bournemouth nightlife.
There's plenty in Birmingham.
You're clear of Birmingham as well. Thank you. Strike them off my visiting list. Birmingham's out. They're out. Stay away from the flesh-eating zombies, gentlemen. They're out there. You've heard it here first.
Everywhere.
Oh, shit. Look out, gentlemen. There are flesh-eating zombies everywhere. Yes. Like I say, a bit of fun with it I would have. I mean, all this, you know, they're going to release biotoxins and turn us all against one another, and we're all going to be fighting on the streets for food. What? What are you talking about? I don't know if they've actually noticed the people who are coming up with this, but there is actually another community of people who generally kind of try and look after one another to the best of their ability. That community is realising that they can't afford to carry liability. All right, now you can see that as many ways as you want, whether in a legal sense, a physical sense, an emotional sense, but that cannot carry anyone's liability. If you're a liability, you need to deal with that and sort yourselves out, because one community deals with liability, the other will not accept it. No liability. Now, for most people, it's unfair because they don't know what their actions are in the moment, and they cannot be judged for that. You see? You cannot be judged for that. You can't be judged for stuff that we don't know. And you know, I notice there where I say you and then we and then us, because I'm not excluding myself from this. You know, I'm not preaching to people. I include myself in the scenario. So, you know, we can't be judged for stuff we didn't know. We can't. And if there is anybody here that needs to be judged, then you'll be judged by yourself. Because nobody knows you better than you. No one. And who else better to be qualified to judge anyone, if anyone needs to be judged? So if I'm to be judged, then I am best qualified to do that. There is no one here more qualified than myself to judge me. And I have chosen that I don't need to. I have used my judgment to judge that judging myself and others is no longer productive. Now, of course, when I look at this from another angle, from Lee's primeval energy, or is he sowing your seed? Is it Lee? But the primeval energy, and then wow, that's remarkably similar. It's remarkably similar. Again, we can see something, and because it's been used to manipulate other people sexually, yeah, it becomes wrong. Creative sexual energy or creative energy, Kundalini energy, becomes wrong, evil, and demonic. Now, as a rule of thumb, females are much better than this than males. A lot of the women are like, you bastard Bob, you're not supposed to tell them that. But they are. Women are much better at manipulating with that energy because if selection, reaction, you see. And that is primeval. It's mating, like Lee said. That's what it is. They're fluffing themselves up. They're going out and they're performing in ritual mating ceremonies where they drink alcohol and then they get on with whatever the ookie pookie they want to get on with. Nice cup of tea, really. It's more interesting. Nice cup of tea and a biscuit. It's lovely. So, you know, all the fuss is about. But there you go. And there you go. When you're in that scenario, of course, we've all been younger and we've all been out there. And I mean, well, no, actually, it's never really got me that way. I've kind of always been oblivious to those things. But yeah, you know, when you know, the lads go out and they look at the girls and the old-fashioned dancing. Lads on one side, girls on the other side. Hey, do you want to dance? Aye, do you want to dance? Fancy a pizza and a shag? You know, it's moved on a bit since the 60s up to the 21st century. Liberation of people and has come forward a little bit in the disguise of more freedom. That we're now freer to do what? Freer to do what? 1,000 years ago, you didn't have to go out, get drunk, make a complete ass of yourself, right, to get in the sack with a woman. That's not how it worked, guys, right? That's not how it worked. You know, you had to be industrious and honourable, you know, and being able to provide a home. I mean, ruffling your fucking feathers up just doesn't cut the mustard, you know? But hey, times have changed now. You know, if a woman is good looking, she's got the right physical attributes. This makes her a what? A better woman. What, than looking after the home or looking after children because she doesn't come up to what the media say is the right size because her ass is too big or her knees are too small or her elbows are too wrinkly. Whatever the fucking hell it is, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. In my mind it is. It really is. It's electrical chemical interaction that it should be as beautiful as anything else. The wind blowing on the sea or anything else. All this sexualization of children. To me, this just shows the inadequacies of the parents. It really does. The schools now are blaming the kids for having, you know, these mental disorders. Why? Because the schools can't keep them occupied. That's the fault of the school, not the child. So yeah, I know I'm going to upset a lot of people. You know, I don't intend to upset people. But I'll tell you something, there's no way I'm sitting around pussyfooting because I might hurt somebody's feelings. I might actually say something that's offensive. Well, look, if you are getting offended at things I say, it's you who's being offended. That's not my intention. My intention is, go back to sleep, don't wake up, you can't handle it, it's too much for you, let the government sort your shit out, put your heads down and pray to your God. Then you'll be on your knees. And it'll be people like myself, and Bob and Lee and Nerese and many others. Most of you are listening. Most of you are listening, I imagine. It'll be us lot who've got to put it together. That's the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. If we allow ourselves to be put into that position of authority, then what we've done is exactly the same again. We've done it exactly the same as again. I think it's our responsibility now, our responsibility not to take the responsibility for others and insist that each and every one of us at least begin to deal with our own emotional, physical, financial problems, whatever they may be. Whatever your problem is, share it with your brothers and sisters as openly as you can. And let's remove the problems. Because I am 100% certain, beyond that horizon, if there is a place called the future, which I very much doubt, I think our presences are already there. They're already there at that place we call future. And all we've got to do is navigate. We cannot afford any liability. We can't. We can't afford to be contracted with those that are going to create it. We can't. It's not that we don't love, we don't care, and we don't have compassion. It's if we don't do this, there won't be anything. There won't be anything for anybody. Eventually, we will be consumed. Done unto ourselves as we have done unto others. Done unto us. And at the moment, we're the beast, we're the emotional ones, and we are consuming everything in our path. Don't put a finger at anyone else. I am part of their world, as all of you are. Okay, there may be dimensional realities, I'm certain they are, but regardless of that, we are all here now in this reality, in these bodies, right in this moment. And that is unity. Not what we think of others, but what we're actually currently doing. We are already in unity. We can't create it again. You can't do it if we've already done it. And they've had us dividing what cannot be divided. They have us thinking that what cannot be segregated is segregated. We have been broken up into geographical, political, social, religious judgment. How long are we going to continue? Like I say, go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. This is not for most people, and I fully accept that. I fully accept that now. I've judged that everyone can do this. Everyone can do it. Without judgment, everyone's worthy. That's what I wanted. I wanted that so much, for it to be equal for everyone. Everyone is worthy without judgment. But most of them don't want to give up the judgment. And they are worthy to judge themselves, because without judgment, they are worthy to get whatever they're looking for, whatever they want to manifest. Of course, it's a lot easier to manifest evil abroad. It's easier to see someone else's family torn apart than your own. It's easier to see someone else's cities blown apart and their children lying dead in the street than your own. It's easy to kill somebody from 22,000 feet up by just pressing a button. It's really hard to do when you're up close and you can smell their fear. So they divide us. The more segregated become, the easier it is we'll kill one another. You bring two people together, sit them in a room, feed them, let them eat, let them have a meal over a table where they can have a conversation. And what were enemies become adversaries. And they leave that table. Family. Because that's what family is. Not what we've experienced. We've been duped. What we defend our families with love, that is judgment. That's not love. We've got a lot to learn. I know I have. But I suggest, and that's all it is, that we let go of our misconceptions and fill our hearts. Because these minds aren't bad. We're asking them to do jobs they're just not capable of doing. Zombies, ghouls, monsters and spectres and the jinn. Don't be scared of them. Don't be scared of them. They could just be your friends you made up in your mind when you were a child to come and assist you later. That could be as real. Well, it'd be more real than television. And most people are living their lives by television. And somebody else made that up. So surely making up your own reality must be far more powerful than trying to live someone else's. Well, that's what I endeavoured to do anyway. And that's what I know a few others have endeavoured to do here around me. We've endeavoured to create a reality without a victim. Join us. Join us. Darkcity Radio. Thank you very much for listening.
They said we could not do it. They said it wasn't possible. But we did it. We created a